our association to Bay Lakes. We've sent a little bit of church planting funds already, and that's kind of what our focus has been, as well as we have one church in the association that has committed for a few months of assistance to a church in Bay Lakes Association, and then to provide teams as requested by the churches in both associations. So we left it vague enough that we can see what happens, but also try to give us some parameters to work with. While Dan and Mark were with us a couple of weeks ago after the annual meeting was over, and I will tell you too that the thing that I keep hearing, Mark Russell delivered the classic line of our entire annual celebration when he stood up in front of us and said, "You have 63 churches in 3 counties. We have 23 churches in 27 counties. You help us know how to start new churches, we'll help you know how to start new counties." I don't know that I want any more counties. And actually, you are better at starting new churches than we are. So I'm really excited, and I was excited to hear Dan and Mark coming back and sharing some things that they saw in our annual celebration that they think would be something beneficial to you. I want to tell you that it's on my heart to learn things from Bay Lakes as well. And one of the things is I am convinced of the value of the pastor mentoring meeting that you have. And it is like pulling teeth for me to get pastors together for any reason. And so do you say, well, I've got to get a group together first and then convince them of this, or you just say, we're going to start this, and if one person comes or 2 people come, then we'll let it grow itself. So we're going to be looking at that in the next year. We had some great meetings the 2 days that after our annual meeting with Mark and Dan, and just got some of our folks together and said, let's talk about what this might look like. And there's some really exciting things that came out of that we'll be sharing with both associations in the weeks and months ahead. And we're beginning to look at what next year might look like and what are some things that might happen. So you'll be getting information from Dennis and from the partnership group about that, and we'll be getting information. We'll be sharing those things. And I'm excited. I'm excited about what God's going to do. And I think God's going to do some things that we haven't even begun to think about yet. And He's going to surprise us. And that's going to be really, really special. And I also just want to thank you for your prayer support. I think Dennis forwarded to you what's going to be going on in my life in the next 2 weeks. If you got that email from Dennis, I probably have no idea where I am. I left my house at about 6:45 yesterday morning to go to the airport. Flew up here, spent the day with Mark, and then Mark and Julie and Dan and Barb took me to eat at Fish Fry last night. When this meeting's over today, I'll be going back to the airport. I'll get home probably about 1 o'clock this morning. Got to be at a church at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning, and from there I go to the airport to go to Ukraine for 2 weeks with the Singing Men of North Central Texas. I'm excited about that trip. It's a rescheduled trip. It was supposed to happen in April, but there was a volcano that erupted in Iceland and kind of shut down travel. I was not scheduled to go in April. So I just want to tell you this story real quickly, because one of the reasons I want to tell you this story is that I'm excited about what God's going to do in this partnership, because God does these surprising things. I wasn't going to go in April. So when the trip got rescheduled for October, the friend of mine who got me into Singing Men in the first place, who was the president at that time, said, "You think you'll be able to go now?" I said, "John, I'll pray about it. But honestly, God is going to have to show up in a big way financially for me to be able to do that. I've got 2 kids in college. My daughter's getting married in January. this is not a good time for me to be raising $3,000 for a mission trip for me to go on. And we talked a little bit about that, and what's the chance of the association putting some money into it? I said, I'm just not comfortable with that, because it's not an association trip. So the moderator of our association called me. He said, how would you feel about me just sending out an email to pastors and asking if church wanted to give you a love offering? And I said, I would be okay with that. I'm not comfortable spending association money, but I never turn down love offerings, especially when it's to do God's work. So the money began coming in, and I said, God must want me to go, because I'm going on this trip, and there's not a dime of it coming out of my pocket. And some of our churches have gotten excited about that and have given love offerings to pay the cost for me to go. This trip will be, we'll be doing, in about 10 days in country in Ukraine, we'll be doing 11 concerts. And we work with an evangelist that's over there. Some of you may have heard of Michael Gott. He's been in evangelism for many years and been working especially in Ukraine for the last few years. So we'll present a concert. He will preach after the concert's over with an interpreter in Russian, and we'll be able to preach an evangelistic message. And we're working with the Ukrainian Baptist Convention who are hosting us. They put together, when the trip got canceled in April, there was a group of Ukrainian Baptists that said, we want to put together a group of Ukrainian singing men to at least do the first place that was scheduled to have a concert. They put it together, rehearsed for 2 weeks, put together, did that concert, and at that concert, 80 people trusted Christ as Savior.
Amen.
So we're excited about having had the additional months to pray and prepare. We'll be doing 3 songs in Russian, and the rest of them, when we sing in English, the Russian words will be projected on a screen. They're encouraging the Baptists there for every one church member that comes to the concert to bring one lost person with them. So we're hoping that at least 50% of the congregation in each of these concerts will be people who need to come to know Jesus Christ as Savior. So I'd appreciate your prayers. I'm going to be, as availability, sending out updates during the trip, and Dennis will get those. I've facilitated a way with my daughter to send to my prayer partners. So he'll send out anything that happens, and certainly once it's over. But I just want you to know I appreciate your friendship, your partnership. I'm so excited about what God's going to do through this partnership in both of our associations. And I can't wait to see what that is. And just, I thank you, I love you, and I'm so appreciative to be able to be here with you today.
Amen.